I was thinking about an intro with the chicken or the egg, but that's an old yoke. My name is Victor Ashley, and I'm a real estate agent out of Seattle, Washington. This is how you get a hold of me. Also, leave a comment below. The snarkier, the better. And while you're at it, hit subscribe because I cover a lot of different topics, areas, zip codes, and concepts that might be important to you. And I could be talking about your neighborhood or even your situation next. I want to actually talk about one that I just had a conversation today about. And I got a call from a family, and they were making about $65,000 a year. And, they were saying, hey, how do we actually buy a house? What's the process we need to do? We don't think we can afford it. And one thing that was even brought up, they say, what if we get denied and we can never buy a house? Well, this is the reason why I have this channel. And I really want to get personal and talk to you guys about this. We're going to go through and we're going to do a qualification for them. But at the same time, I want to say it's completely up to you. It's your financial decision. This is your life. You drive the car. You have the keys. I, as a real estate agent, I'm only here to help you stay on the road. This is your decision. This is your story. And I want to make sure that you guys know exactly what you're doing when I educate you. Because at the same time, I make my money when I buy or when I help you buy or sell a piece of real estate. But at the same time, I got to make sure that I educate you and I actually bring value to the transaction. And that's one reason why I have this YouTube channel, is because I actually get to sit here and talk to you about the things that I don't hear about a lot. So let's get into it right now. And I appreciate you guys being patient with me for the long intro. So let's go over their situation. $65,000 a year, about $5,000 a month. This is pretty average for a lot of people out there, especially in the Washington area, and they're outside of the King County zone. So let's get into it right now, and I appreciate your patience, and let's jump into it. So here we are. This is the mortgage calculator that's offered by Google, and it's kind of important to use something that's a little bit non-biased. But for the most part, if you go into Bankrate or you go to Rocket Mortgage or something like that, and you put in this information, they're just going to blow up your inbox, and they want you to, use a loan. What I've found is whenever I do this, I don't get those emails, so I just want to recommend it to you guys here, and it's pretty non-biased. So we put in our $65,000 household income right here. This is before taxes. This is really, really, really important to remember. This is before tax money. So even though you're making $5,000 a month, if you make $5,000 a month, your household income, your take-home pay is going to be lower than that. Now, they had low monthly debts, and that's a really good thing. They didn't have any car loans that they had. They just, purchased their cars, cash. There are people out there that do it. I do it personally, and they do it also. They had low mortgage payment. They had low payments that they had out there. So I'm just going to leave this at $250. And also, that's on a monthly basis. And also, what we were talking about is specifically right now they had about $7,000 to $10,000 that they had in their rainy day fund. And by the time that we get to this transaction, more than likely they're going to bring about $7,000 to $10,000 into the transaction. But you want to make sure that you have a rainy day fund, because if you don't, something's going to break in the house. It always does. And when that happens, you got to be able to take care of it because this is your house, this is your responsibility, and it's very important to remember that. And at the same time, cars still break down, all just stuff happens. And, I don't need to get too into it, but, you got to make sure that you have a rainy day fund. Now, again, also in the interest rate, I'm using an interest rate of 7.5. I have no idea what you're going to qualify for on your mortgage interest rate. Everybody's FICO and everyone's FICO and financial situation is completely different. And when you actually do your qualifications, you're going to get your disclosure document provided by one of my friends, either Tucker or Heidi, and their information's right here if you want to watch that. But they're actually going to go through and they're going to go through your financial situation, and they're going to say what you can qualify for. You're going to see teaser rates out there. Teaser rates are usually in the 5s and 6s right now, from what I can tell. But you got to remember that these are for the persons with exceptional credit and they're bringing a large down payment most likely. You got to read the fine print, because if you don't, you're going to be calling them and then they're going to turn around and they're going to quote you something higher. So make sure that you have that expectation understood. So what we come out with $65,000 a year, low monthly debts, and about $10,000 down payment, with an interest rate about 7.5%, we're looking right at about $200,000. And this is about, and I'm going to round this to 190 loaned. Okay, this is $190,000 loaned. And what that looks like on a monthly payment, and this is only your payment and your interest. This is not your taxes, and this is not your HOAs, any kind of insurance, or even if you buy a manufactured home, a lot space rental. So keep this in mind. This is $1,329. It's very important to remember this because most of the time when somebody sees this, they're going to say, I'm only paying $1,329, and then they get a statement in the mail and it says $1,729, and they're like, what's up with the extra $400? That's all the taxes and such. So I wanted to go through that real quick. And then one thing that I also want to get into, but this is the down payment assistant program. Not every lender has it. One of the lenders that I do recommend for this is Tucker Maxwell. His information's right here. And again, I already talked about Tucker earlier, and he's done one of my videos, but I want to keep this in mind, just so you know. Down payment assistance, there's additional steps you're going to have to do. If you can see in here, there's 13 programs on this site right here, and I'll link it in the description also. But there's all of these programs out there. Some of them are for the Native Americans. Some of these are for, somebody in the Snohomish-County. And then some of these in here are just because they're just available either at the county, the state, or even the federal level. So keep this stuff in mind on a first-time home buyer. These are completely income-based, needs-based, and at the same time, there might be something specific that they're looking for, or for a minority program also. So keep this stuff in mind, because this gets overlooked. Not every lender can do it. Tucker can. So if you have any questions on that, get a hold of him. Now, I went into our search terms on my MLS right now, and I'm just doing a quick search on this, just so you have an idea of what's out there. But we're not going to do King County. We're going to look at everything except King County today. Snohomish, Pierce, and Thurston County, my home county. And what you're going to come out with inside of this range with residential, condominium, and manufactured homes, and under $200,000, yeah, let me do that right now, under $200,000, there's 171 matches out there. That's a lot of different houses. Most of them are going to be manufactured homes, or even smaller homes, condos, anything like that. But I wanted to give you an idea of what's actually out there, so you know exactly that just because you make a lower amount doesn't mean you can't qualify for something. Here's one in my hometown of Olympia. This is Fir Tree. It's not going to be a loaned property. This right here, make sure you don't call on these kind of things. But this one right here is a teardown. This is not something for you as a normal homeowner. But here, right here in Lacey, right next to this other one, this is a $65,000 space. It's a manufactured home. This is possible. It's out there. Qualifications might be iffy, but this is the kind of stuff that I want to get into so you have an idea. And the reason why I'm doing this one today is just a little more personal, because there's a reason why I do not do the $1 million reviews in this area, even though I live in Seattle. It's because the majority of people that I talk to, they don't buy these houses. So keep this in mind. The majority of people out there, they only buy, $400,000 to $600,000 houses in general. So sometimes you just think that, everything's $1 million listing. It's not. So keep that in mind out there. Everybody's situation is different. Remember that everybody's on a different path than you. And at the same time, if you have any questions, I'll be available to answer these. And as always, it was a pleasure working with you today, and I hope you have a fantastic day.